Welcome everyone to a little bit of light, awaiting Moshiach and the Shemoneh Esrei, and this is part 3 when it comes regarding the bracha of the Liyrushalayim Ircha that we say in the Shemoneh Esrei. So let's just read this part of the Shemoneh Esrei again together. Liyrushalayim Ircha barachim toshuv. To Yerushalayim, your city, to Jerusalem, your city, you shall return with mercy. You shall dwell in it as you have spoken. And build it soon in our days an everlasting structure. And the throne of David, quickly bring into it, meaning into Yerushalayim. Okay, so we're going to focus on where it's on the part of the bracha that says, and build it soon in our days an everlasting structure. There are some fascinating psukim, verses in Tanakh, that give some description about what it's going to be like when Yerushalayim is rebuilt. So there is a pasuk in the book of Yeshaya, the book of Isaiah. This is Yeshaya 54, Nun Daled, 11 through 12, psukim Yud Aleph through Yud Beis, verses 11 through 12. Hine anoichi marbitz bapuch avanayach v'sadetich basapirim. Behold, I will set down gems on your flooring stones and lay your foundation with sapphires. V'samti chad choshim shoisayich. I will set your window frames with ruby. Usharayach lavnei ekdach v'chal gevulech lavnei chayfetz. And make your gates of carbuncle stones and your entire boundary of precious stones. Amazing description of what Yerushalayim will look like. The Malbim explains that each one of these stones represents a different aspect of the greatness that will return to Yerushalayim. One stone refers to the wisdom of Torah that will return. Another refers to the Jewish monarchy that will return. Another refers to the blessings of the land that will return. This is one description of Yerushalayim, the rebuilt Yerushalayim. And then there is another pasuk, another verse from the book of Zechariah, Perek Beis Pasuk Tes, chapter 2, verse 9. Vani ela nu'um Hashem choimas eish saviv. And I shall be for it, Yerushalayim, says Hashem, a wall of fire all around. And for glory will I be in its midst. The meaning of this wall of fire, the commentaries explain, is that it means a wall of protection. Yerushalayim will be protected from all enemies and from all problems. And actually, the Gemara in Baba Kama, the Talmud in Tractate Baba Kama, Samach Hamid Beis 60b, says the following: that based on this pasuk, Hashem declares, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem says, Olai l'shalei masabe'era shivarti. It's upon me to pay for the fire that I set. Ani yitzati eish b'tzion, I set a fire in Zion. Shenamar, as it states, vayatzes ish b'tzion v'atoich li'yisoday seha. He lit a fire in Zion, and it consumed its foundations. Vani asi livnoisi ba'esh, and I, says Hashem, will rebuild it with fire. Shenamar, as it says, the verse we just read, Vani Elohem num Hashem, I shall be for them, says Hashem, choimas eish saviv, all a fire all around. Here too, I believe the meaning of the Gemara is that Hashem set the fire to the Beis HaMikdash, which we knew the Beis HaMikdash was burnt down, but that represents the protection taken away to allow the enemies to destroy it. And Hashem says, when I rebuild Yerushalayim, it shall be, again, there will be a wall of fire around it. I will protect it from all enemies and from all troubles. Now, so these are some of now there's also an interesting description about the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash itself. So here we're talking about verses that talk about Yerushalayim in general, and talking about the great blessings that will come about when Yerushalayim is rebuilt. Then there is a Rashi. This is Rashi in Sukkah Mem Aleph, the tractate Sukkah in the Talmud 41a, that says that Rashi makes the following comment: Avo Mikdash ha'asid shanu metzapim. The future Beis HaMikdash, the future temple that we are awaiting, Banu u'meshuchlalu, it is already built. Hu yigala v'yavoy mishamayim. It is already fully built, and it will appear from heaven. That's what Rashi says. V'yava mishamayim, it shall come from heaven. As it says, Mikdash Hashem kanu yadecha. The sanctuary of God, your hands have established. So Rashi understands that to mean the third Beis HaMikdash is already built. It just has to now come down from heaven. Now, maybe at a different point, we'll have a further discussion about this, about this Rashi. But again, another unbelievable description of the rebuilding of Liyrushalayim, this specifically about the Beis HaMikdash, that it will come down from heaven. So these are some of the unbelievable descriptions about the rebuilding of the Beis HaMikdash that we are asking for when we say, and build it soon in our days, an everlasting structure. And then we have the phrase that says, V'chisei David meheira l'socha tachin, and the throne of David quickly shall you bring inside of it. The throne of David here is referring to the throne of the Melech HaMashiach. Mashiach will be the king, and his throne will be in Yerushalayim. So we are praying for that throne to be prepared and brought into Yerushalayim. And it's very interesting to note that when we refer to Mashiach here, refer to him as David. We don't say V'chisei Mashiach. We say V'chisei David, the chair of David, the throne of David. And the fact that Mashiach is referred to as David is number one because it's because Mashiach will be a descendant of David. Jewish monarchy belongs to the house of David, the house of David. So Mashiach will be a descendant of David. And the fact that we find that Mashiach himself is referred to as David is based on a pasuk in the book of Yecheskel. This is Yecheskel, Lamed Zayin, pasuk Chav Daled, 37, verse 24. Va'avdi David melech aleihem, and my servant David will be a king over them. Mashiach is referred to as David. We actually now again in this blessed Liyrushalayim Ircha we say V'chisei David. Here again refer to Mashiach as David. And in the Shabbos davening, we do that. In the Kedusha that we say in Shachris, we say, Ve'einenu serena malchusecha, our eyes shall see your kingdom, Kadavar amur b'shirei yuzecha, as it said in the songs of your strength, Al yedei David Mashiach tzidkecha, through David, your anointed righteous one. This is what we're referring to. Again, we're referring to Mashiach, the return of the Malchus, through David, your righteous anointed one. Again, referring to Mashiach as David. And very often, to me, this brings to mind a very important point. David HaMelech, King David, in secular circles, or when it comes to a secular non-Torah approach to David HaMelech, David is described and looked upon as a wild warrior, involved in controversy. And he was involved in controversies. In Tanakh, in the book of Shmuel, we have the controversies that David was involved in. And because of this, David is defined in very negative terms. There are many, many sources that affirm to us the greatness of David HaMelech, of King David. And the controversies he was involved in is discussed by the commentaries. But those are not what define David. David was a holy and great king. So much so that Mashiach comes from him, and Mashiach is called by him. And Reb Schwab, in his commentary here on the Siddur, cites a Zohar. The Zohar says that Mashiach will be an incarnation of the soul of David. It will be a Gilgal. David's soul will return in the body of Mashiach. And therefore, every day we're saying this, every day referring to Mashiach as David. And that should affirm to us how David HaMelech was a great and holy king. The singer of songs of praise to Hashem. That is the true way of defining David HaMelech, King David. Have a very happy rest of your Hanukkah. Have a wonderful Shabbos. Thank you for listening. This has been a little bit of light.